everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of I Cast Fireball, an actual play 5e D&D adventure where we go through the campaign Skulls and Shackles. I'm Thomas, your DM for this adventure, and around the table we have
Lieutenant Ignis Halcon,
Maximus Shans,
Ataraxia Kalian,
Buster Bilgewater.
A good plan is in force here. The Satyr song has has cast the Silvery Barb is going towards Tidewater Rock.
Good plan. It's a good plan. It's a good
plan.
plan.
The barb is barbing.
And after discussing the entry points and discovering a little bit more about the geography of the land, discovering that they could come up to Tidewater Rock from multiple angles here with some possibility, the crew of the Silvery Barb is ready to enact their plan. And that is where we join on this week's episode of I Cast Fireball.
One of our team members who cannot fly remembered that two of our team members can fly.
It's pretty nice. I'm a fan.
Grass is always greener.
That's a support character for you. So, the crew of the Silvery Barb, you are going to go a little bit eastwards away from the cove, correct? You're going to try to find a different beach that you can jump onto and then rock climb a little distance to then approach from a backwards area to Tidewater Rock. Am I remembering that correctly?
From a southern angle.
Southern angle. Okay.
Yeah, we decided that basically we want to find like the most straight shot to the tower itself so that we can maximize the flying
Because
time.
they'll be invisibly flying, yeah.
Okay. So, as you have gathered this intel, looking into the cove, not venturing into the cove, keeping yourself confidently hidden from any long-term far glasses, like trying to scope the horizon here. It being not a full moon. Oh gosh, I need to start keeping track of the moon cycles here. But it not being a full moon, because if then you could clearly see everything on the ocean, right?
Mm-hmm.
So...
Okay.
I'm like, what kind of moon
like,
magic is happening,
Who's a
Thomas?
werewolf? What are we doing?
Werewolves here. I'm merely talking about light, everybody.
Are you going to bring in werewolves?
No, were-rabbits. That's what I'm bringing in.
A were-rabbit, yeah.
Perfect, even better.
You backtrack a little bit to the east to find a beach, which, as I mentioned before, are plentiful. They just are gravelly. They're not the most comfortable to dock in. But as you make your way into one, it's a little bit rough and it hurts, but you're all wearing, well, I guess I shouldn't make the assumption that all of you are wearing shoes or boots here.
I do not.
Nobody is but Ignis, because she's the only one with feet.
Excuse me.
I
sorry,
got
it's
feet.
the
It's
rabbit
just that
wearing
most of us
rabbit.
have normal feet.
I have feet. They're feet
Sorry.
still.
Have soft, human-like feet
Ugh.
that need to be
Fleshy.
protected with shoes.
Yeah, the whole sole of your foot just touches the ground every time you step.
Disgusting.
Which we know Buster
Not a
has
fan.
strong opinions
Not a
on.
fan,
big
not a
fan.
fan.
Not
Not a fan.
planograde.
But Ataraxia, as everybody disembarks into the water to make their way up to the beach, you say the magic word to collapse your chalupa boat.
Crunch wrap, yes.
And the awkward silvery barb has been folded up nicely and goes right into your pocket. And you do see that there is, on this beach, there's a rock face here that you could climb. It is fairly steep, but it's not too high. As I mentioned, the highest point on this mountain, on this island, is 100 feet high. So this one is only probably 30 feet at most to get up to the ledge, which could lead you into some grassy area to approach Tidewater Rock.
All right. So we're trying to get in like as close as we can without like needing to resort to getting into like clear ground where people could start to see us? Are there like crevices we can follow, ridges that we can move behind?
Yeah, so this part of the beach is completely hidden from Tidewater Rock as of right now, so you could comfortably climb the rock face and not just be directly exposed to any visual, but once you reach the ledge, you might have some exposure, but you can peek over at that point and take a look.
Well, let's do some climbing then.
So who's going to go first with climbing and their athletics?
I'll do it. No, let's have actually the person who can see do it.
That's not a bad idea.
That's a good point.
Yep.
All right.
Sorry, how tall would you say that this cliffside is?
30 feet.
Excellent. I happen to have 50 feet of rope.
Haha.
I was checking my Dungeoneer pack to see if I had any. What are they? Pitons?
Pitons.
Pitons?
Pitons.
We used them in our
Yes.
last one, but I do not have any.
Haha.
I'll pull out my kalimba and start playing a good climbing song and give you bardic inspiration.
Stealth.
I was gonna say Ignis immediately stops him.
He's got a what is it?
A
The
muffler?
horns use
A mute?
A mute on a kalimba.
a muffler on a kalimba.
Now, see, here's the thing. Our audience doesn't want me. They don't want to just hear me say, "I give the lieutenant bardic inspiration." That's boring. I need to have a good justification behind it, right?
He starts to play it, and Ignis stops him.
But you
All
feel
right.
so inspired as a result of that. Those
Yeah.
few notes.
Captain, I appreciate it. Maybe let's not use our musical instruments right now.
Oh, I appreciate your appreciation. Bardic inspiration.
A lot of great support here and recognition of feelings, or the lack thereof. Let's go ahead and have Ignis roll athletics to climb.
Aren't they flying?
Not right now.
You have to climb up. You're going to climb up so you can fly up Tidewater Rock was the plan.
Everybody's climbing up, and then we're going to fly. The first one is a non-natural 19, so just 19.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Thought it was non-natural 20, but it's not. It's just a 19.
Oh, the fog remains for up to an hour, I guess. It's a concentration
Ooh.
spell. So if it's not too windy, could be a pretty effective fog.
Yeah.
yeah, so Ignis, as you start climbing with your 19, you dig in deep. You cast your mind outward, and not outward in this realm, but you try to cast your mind into other realms, other dimensions, right? Just not wholly living there, but just trying to be like, is there anything that I can just be given? Is there anything that I could just be blessed with at this time? And as you start to climb and sort of like live in that space, your hands almost like move naturally on their own to grip here, and where there's a crack that goes vertically, you recall the method of rock climbing jamming, to jam your arm in and like up into your shoulder and to twist to get yourself purchased where you can pull yourself up in this crack and then do it again and until you can get your foot in there. You've made it halfway up successfully here, so well done on the 19, but I will need a final success here to make continual progress.
That one is a non-natural 20. That's a 17 plus 3.
Building off this momentum of pulling from somewhere this natural talent that you have gleaned or gained in this small instance in time where destiny has guided you to climb up and to use the trusted rock faces there. Part of you almost unintentionally marking with, trying to mark with something that is not in your hand before you realize, oh, that's not me. That's not for me. That's for someone else. And you pull yourself all the way to the top, and you can pop over the ledge if you desire at this point, as you are at the top of this 30-foot cliffside.
Just before she pulls her body fully up, can I just make a perception check to make sure within 60 feet there's not just a random guy standing there?
Yes, of
I'm
course.
the
Go and roll
cliff dweller.
Just in case. I'm the cliff dweller.
Whoop!
You've made it onto my cliff.
What's the bardic inspiration? A D8?
Correctamundo.
D8 can't be less than a 2.
Can't be less than a 2. Also, as long as you're holding on to it, you have epic courage.
Well, I needed the courage to get up there. I don't need it anymore. But I'm glad it was a 2 because I rolled a 1. So that is just a perception of 10.
Okay. Let me tell you what you do see. You see the tower, which you saw before, but now clear. The tower rises like a solid block from the sea at the edge of this island, and you can hear the pounding surf from the cove not too far from you around its base, and you can see that there are arrow slits that pierce its wall here and there with a shuttered window which is open high upon the face of the fortress. The metal, or rather the roof, is of metal shingles, and it rises from its battlements where sentries, which I mentioned before, walking around braziers, they keep lookout with siege weapons, and they stand ready on these turrets here. So as they're looking about, you are looking directly 60 feet. The Tidewater Rock is more than 60 feet from your current location, and there don't appear to be anybody around you, any individuals, but you do see, unfortunately, a lot of open space where you currently are at, because there are a few cultivated plots of land here, and you see some plants growing in neat lines.
Any chance that there's any kind of shack, shed, something that they might keep tools in that are within safe distance for us, or a place for Buster and Ataraxia to hide?
Let Chance decide that.
Great.
What do I want to have happen? And then I'm gonna say it was Chance. So yeah, there is a small, I do mean small, almost like shed, where it almost looks like an outhouse, actually. Maybe it doubles as an outhouse, actually, but that's how kind of like the smallish area, barely enough room for a person to fit in. So that's what you see as you are holding on, and you've got strength in your arms, so you haven't expended, like you're not shaking as you're holding yourself up here. But if you continue to chill there for minutes and minutes, then yeah, we might have a problem.
Now, seeing that the way is clear and that this seems like an okay place to possibly hide, that there at least is a structure here, Ignis will pull herself up and over the precipice of the cliffside and then try to find a place to attach the rope so that the rest of her team can have a help up the cliffside.
Yeah. Finding a secure place to attach the rope is the tricky part.
Survival? Would that be a survival check?
Well, this is a cultivated area, so any sort of like rock or stone has been removed so that it could, or rather wasn't there to begin with, so that this could be a nice farmland area for some crops. So tying it to a secure location, you don't see anything within sight that where all 50 feet of rope would fall down.
We're free climbing.
Great. So Ignis, with her military training and running drills like this, will attach the rope to her and will find a place to dig in her heels and sit back and give at least some kind of anchor to it. So maybe they're not climbing straight up the rope, but at least it's there to help with, or using their hand, whatever. And so she can be at least part of an anchor point, and she'll throw the rest of the rope down to the rest of the captain's council.
That is something you absolutely can do, and you could be about 15 feet away from the edge here to give yourself a little bit more, because again, it's only 30 feet tall, so you are able to provide some there. So there is going to be a bonus. It won't be with advantage, but there will be some bonus to when they climb if they use the rope solely, or to assist in their climbing.
Perfect.
So who's next to climb up?
I'll go.
All right, Buster, I need an athletics check from you, sir.
Okay.
Now, with Ignis helping, if you choose to rely on her, you can add a 3 to your athletics check.
And I'm not going I'm not trying to go fast.
Great.
I'm just trying to go regular. So +3 on top of that. A +3 on top of that would be a 16.
16. It's close, but you are able to make your way up. It is not as natural to you. Your big old feet are not built
These
to
feet
climb
were made
and-
for hopping.
Yeah, they're not meant to get into the tiny crevices here. So it's mainly your hands just pulling yourself up with some assistance from the feet. And you try to like do the trick where you wrap your foot around the rope and you pull yourself with like your arms, but so that there's some help there. But you're able to get halfway up, which is good. But it's hard. So I'll need one more athletics check for you to get to the top here.
Right now?
Yes.
And a failed athletics check is just me falling, right?
Possibly.
Depending on how bad you
Okay,
fail.
I'm just gonna use my what was it? My 15 divination and get it over with. So an 18.
So as you start to climb, you're like, wait a minute. I've seen this before. And in your vision, you fell down, you fell on your head, and your head was split open, and just blood was running down the sand into the water.
And at first, I thought that it was Max fulfilling a promise he'd made to me.
Or
but
was it?
in fact, it was just me falling. So nice that I figured that one out.
he fell. I don't know what happened.
And so you said, ha, glad to have been warned. And you just are like, all right, no screwing around here. And you actually use, I won't make you mechanically use it, but use part of your just hops and your bounding to where you're like, all right, full rope here. And you're basically rappelling upwards with your hops. And you're like, instead of pushing off and falling down, you're pushing up and quickly like pulling the rope closer to you. And Ignis, you're like, and, oh gosh.
It's light and then heavy, and then light and then...
You're like, sheesh Louise. And you see Buster come up and you're like, of course.
Cakewalk. No problem.
All right. Ataraxia or Max?
Might as well go for it.
All right, Ataraxia, athletics check. +3 to whatever you
I'll
roll.
help hold the rope.
+1 if that's the kid. Just kidding.
That's a 16.
16. There we go. Enough to get up there. Your goat hooves are really make this really nice, actually. They're really good. And so I'm thinking of the YouTube video where the baby goats have to climb up that damn wall. Have you seen that where they go like halfway up to lick the salt? Oh my gosh. I almost passed out.
Yeah,
Because
goats are insane.
goats are meant to
Like
do
from
that.
birth?
Yeah.
Why don't you roll another athletics check to see if you go all the way to the top?
All right. That's a 10.
Darwinism. 10. Okay. As a 10, you're like, all right. You're
Okay, it
gets
sounds like it's
caught.
time for me to use a luck point.
You're like, oh, I'm falling.
And to use another luck point. And to use another luck point.
No.
Oh, look, he's flying.
13. No, 16. 16.
16. And your foot gets caught, and you're like, oh, okay, I can get out of this. And you shake, and it gets like further caught in the crack, and you're like, okay, panicking a little bit. Well, actually, you can't panic. Sorry, don't mean to put
This is
words
a
Can't
in your mouth.
situation.
Emotions in my heart.
Yeah, you're like, wow, this isn't good. And so you just kept trying over and over and over, and you're like, nope. And Max, you're like, oh crap. Oh crap. Like rocks are pebbles are starting to fall down, and like you hear like, and then Ataraxia, you're just like, I got it. And you just climb on up, so you're good. Max, you're the last one.
Alrighty. I do have pitons in my Dungeoneer's pack. Can I use those as well?
Pitons are helpful if you hammer them into the walls, and
I'll just just put the piton in the wall. Boom.
with your breath. You mean?
With my breath weapon. Boom.
Yeah,
in the
that
wall.
definitely
No,
will not be heard by anybody
Yeah.
for miles around, for sure.
I just
I'll
assumed,
use a muffler.
Mute yourself.
You also like you get like 2 steps up and you're like, all right, I gotta recharge. Everybody wait for a short rest.
Yeah. Okay.
I just assumed
All right,
with stealth,
+3 though.
doing pitons probably is not going to be what you want.
Okay.
But yeah, +3 to your athletics check.
That's a critical fail.
Critical fail.
He doesn't
All
even
right.
get off.
But I'm at the bottom. So
So you start climbing up, and the rope breaks.
Sir,
Slipped right
It
through my
phrase-
finger.
I didn't do it. You got a terrible rope.
That was a Mulan
it was just
reference.
hemp rope, so honestly.
Fingers. Oh, it's a good Mulan reference.
Can we give extra, like if we move closer to the cliff edge? Or did it break too far up?
Hey, real quick, how far down is the ship? Or is Max?
30
It's
feet.
30 feet down. So
Are you gonna warp him?
So let me go ahead
could.
and finish the description.
Oh, sorry.
So Max,
Sorry.
as you're climbing up, you don't get too far up, right? But it does break, and you're able to catch yourself as you fall down, even though it's like it's an uncomfortable distance to fall still, right? So like 8 feet, and you're like, oh, okay, and you fall into the sand, and the rope did break, and you're like, oh, well, crap. You see that the rope is 10 feet above you before you could even grab onto it now. So there is that working against you for the first half of this leg here. Now, this is enough to where Ignis probably could get to the edge and put down the rest of the rope, right? But that's kind of where it stands right now, Max, if you want to attempt again, or if Ignis wants to move to the edge there.
I'm gonna vortex warp him.
So as Max goes to climb up, he's like, all right, we're gonna do this. We're gonna but he has to be willing, doesn't he?
No, absolutely not. I think if he's unwilling, he has to roll against it, I think. But a willing target can just like accept it.
That's fair.
But if he
could purposely fail
Yeah.
and then go. So as you go, Max, you feel this force pulling
I
you
mean,
up.
I've done it to you before. You know exactly what's happening.
That's fair.
Yeah.
You have.
Let's add some flavor. I'm gonna resist it. I don't know what you're doing. You might want to kill me
It's a
right now.
Constitution saving throw.
Constitution save here.
The distrust.
Natural 20.
Seriously?
Exactly the time you needed that roll.
Yep, exactly when I needed
All right. I've wasted all my second level spells. Come on, Max. What? You broke the rope. I was gonna just teleport you up here.
And we leave it to you, Max, to do another athletics check to try and climb up.
That is a 21.
21, a critical success to where you can make your way up all the way the full 30 feet to climb up there. And as the three of you see Max climbing up, using the rope in some instances to still pull on up, Max gets to the top, and the four of you are there seeing Tidewater Rock in the distance. You see the farm. Buster, you're almost not distracted, but you're like, I see you, farm. I see you plants. I see you, herbs.
It doesn't get me excited. I don't like that life.
Right,
That's
and that's
not an
fair.
exciking thing. He's really
like,
upset
Listen,
about it.
everybody talked about jokingly killing the goats. Like, they're a burden. Let's be clear. Like, that's like, I
Mom! This is where he's from. Dad, Mom!
I'm from Tidewater Rock.
You see the small shed off to the side, but you do see a clear path. There isn't a lot of foliage to hide under, like trees, between here and Tidewater Rock, though. So I either turn it to all of you or the captain to kind of decide next approach, if flying is the immediate next step here.
Well, I think in any case, invisibility might be our next step because that lasts for an entire hour. Invisibility would let them get closer to the tower itself and then be able to fly up to the top.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The last thing I want to consider, do we want to look into maybe like getting you two roped together somehow so you don't completely lose each other in there?
That is a really good point, especially since now I have less than 50 feet of rope.
Why don't we just give Ignis the glasses of true seeing, and then when they get real close, she'll see him.
We don't have that, but we have minute seeing.
Aren't the glasses of true sight? Isn't that what those things were?
No.
No, they're minute.
Oh, that's
they let you
right.
see really
That's
small
right.
things.
That's
really
right.
clearly. I gave you a deck of many things. I don't know if I'd give you some glasses of true sight as well.
Okay, fair.
In the
fair.
same-
I mean, I forgot. Yeah.
I mean, she does currently have those, but that's not what they do.
Good thought, though. Good thought.
Should we just? Should you guys just have the plan to like go different directions?
I don't know how Ignis would feel being tied to somebody else that she can't.
One of you cover like the east, one of you cover the west.
So, in splitting the party, we split the split party.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys will be invisible. You'll be split anyway. Like you're not going to be able to track each other.
Unless we tie each other, yeah. Lieutenant, what's your call?
She hates that idea, but she recognizes the need for it. And so as she battles kind of within herself, she begrudgingly takes the hemp rope, the now frayed, broken hemp rope, in her hands and goes, "It might be best if we at least lash our wrists together. It's only hemp. If we need to take it off, we can take it off. But I worry about getting separated and then not having a way out. Or at least the support. You shouldn't go into battle without a buddy."
Buddy sister.
Shouldn't go into battle without a buddy.
Are you making fun of me?
No, I was just saying it because I liked it.
It rhymed. I mean, it was almost a spell. Or no, it's alliterated. It was alliteration.
She looks at Buster. And she'll wrap a small amount of the cord around her wrist and let the other side fall free for Max to do the same.
I will tie it to my wrist.
Great. With invisibility cast, I assume, Ataraxia, upon
Max and Ignis, yes.
with Max and Ignis. And Max and Ignis counting down.
Before we go,
Go ahead,
Max
Max.
is just, with his psionic ability, going to speak briefly in the captain's mind. Just say, Captain, just be careful. Buster's still cursed.
That's a good point.
And you're
Do you think I'm going to try and swim to the ship? Oh,
you
you're
don't
saying
hear
his
me.
mind.
I'm in the mind of people.
No, I'm sorry. Fuck that up.
People reading people's mind all over the
Yeah.
place.
And he's going to...
His curse allows him to intercept.
Yes. My ears are burning.
And you're the only one who knows where the heart is.
That is an excellent point.
And I point at him and cast message and say, "I'm cursed too."
Sorry. Are you going to kill him?
That's the only part of the conversation that anybody heard.
Well, no, he
You have
messaged
to
me.
whisper message, but you have to whisper it.
Well, only the
it's
person.
quiet.
Kid.
Yeah, you do have to whisper it, but only the person being cast to you can hear it.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So you see him mumble something and point to me.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So what's the
And
next game?
With that, 3, 2, 1. With invisibility, the two of you take off into the air.
Cap, do I do my fog cloud now or later?
Well, they shouldn't be able to see them at all right now. Oh, wait, this is tricky because, we're not going to know when they start flying up the wall.
Yeah, and it lasts for an hour. I can cast it wherever I like.
You can cast it on you guys. Maybe keep yourselves hidden a little bit.
So they've been made invisible, right? And well, as soon as they're made invisible, Buster's gonna cast the fog cloud. And in front of, I want to gauge the wind, and I want to make sure that wherever that I put this, it's 120 foot range. It's going to be a 60 foot sphere of cloud. I want to make sure that whatever way the wind is blowing, that this will keep the fog cloud covering where, primary scouts and people looking will be. And Thomas, if there's a chance that I could have divined someone specifically looking in the direction where these two are going to be landing, I want to use my bad divination to force that person to have a bad roll, if that makes sense. So if that opportunity occurs, I just want to give you that in case that does occur. Just before you roll it, let me intercept it divinely.
Now, Buster, what I will have you do is I'll have you roll not Arcana. Let's do your spell casting. Let's use your intelligence, an intelligence roll.
Okay.
To see how naturally maybe you can bring in this fog cloud instead of it just be like masterful wizards being able to bring it in naturally to where it seems like it's slowly and it's coming in as opposed to just alakaboom and it's all right there, right? So Why don't you go ahead and roll a
If it's Arcana, it's a 13. If it's just Intelligence, it's a 10.
Yeah, Arcana, that's fine. So you're able to get it in to where it kind of like slowly comes in, but it's not like over minutes and minutes and minutes. It's like within a few minutes, and so it is like, oh, it's getting a little bit thick up here, and then
Buster kind of he sets his staff aside and starts to move his hands around in like this kind of circle, and one of the lines on his scarf begins to glow, and then several lines next to it start to glow as he casts it at a higher level, and he says, "By my command, a fog to shroud, gather and mist, inform a cloud."
Great. All right, so let's jump to with the fog cloud coming in. I feel like it's going to be coming in right as Max and Ignis both kind of like fly into it, not to like disturb it, to like create their own shapes, but just like a beautiful image as they both like come flying up into this fog, but that they can just generally see as they fall onto the roof. I'm guessing, is that right? Is that the plan, Ignis and Max?
Yes, as we're flying, Max is going to say very quickly to Ignis, just to have a backup. 3 squeezes of the hand. We're out.
Roger that.
That's all, just to make sure we have a kind of a signal.
Ignis and Max, you fly up on the east side of the tower, and as you do, careful to not make too much noise, you see 2 guards that are on duty next to the braziers, and they are next to the ballista, large ballista. Max, you're very familiar with this type of ballista, to shoot down into the cove, to shoot down and destroy ships, to try to do as much damage to any siege equipment that might be making its way up to Tidewater Rock. These 2 individuals they will be making a perception roll here. And let me see what they rolled.
With disadvantage.
That's right.
Because of the fog.
Because the
That's
fog.
right.
And the invisibility.
And I was going to say, and invisibility, right? Yeah.
Well, they rolled a 2.
Nice.
So, as one of them turns to the other and goes, I hate the coastal wind here. It makes guarding almost impossible. Says, yeah, you're just going to try though, mate. Stop complaining, okay? I'm tired of it. I'm sick and tired. You complain when you get bad cards. You complain when you get... And they are just speaking to one another very openly, very freely, very relaxed, as well as both Ignis and Max gently alight on top of the roof, away from these 2 individuals.
Those sound like NPCs we're okay to kill, guys. I'm just going to say that right now.
Oh,
Oh, good to know. Thank you.
good to know. Thank you for your input.
Just to all of us as players. I don't think I'd feel bad.
Also on here, this middle you can't see through. It's kind of like a peak. It keeps going up, right? So you can only see from your direct line that you're on. So if you're on a corner, you can see west and south. You can't see southwest because you're looking directly at the peaked triangle roof there, right? But it is 7 feet high above where you are. Each of the ballista are armed, and it looks like it's 30 feet down. And yeah, you have one side that it has a spyglass that can look out into the cove.
And the one, at least the one that we can see, they're standing at attention at the loaded ballistas.
I'll say loose attention. They're not like on... They're guarding, but they're not like, oh, someone's attacking. They're having a full-on casual conversation here.
Right.
Lady Luck is just not part of my repertoire, okay? She's got it out for me, and it's all thanks to my no-good, pig-stealing great-great-grandfather, okay?
Ignis will, using the rope that is tethering her to Max, will find his hand, grab it, like squeeze it once, and will lead him around the west side of the tower down into the stairwell.
Great. I'll have both of you roll a stealth check with advantage. I know that their perception was horrible. This is just for your opportunity to set the tone how you are going to infiltrate here.
Thomas, can we flavor it that I told Ignis about something I envisioned with my morning divination about somebody spotting them, and that way I can kind of just give her I rolled a 9, this like as my bad roll, and I just want to, at her discretion, in the moment that seems like what I informed her about in my divination, that can be employed. Would that work?
Yeah, I like that flavor. So anything that Ignis is a part of,
Yes.
she could then essentially be like, Buster told me about this.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
That's how we can
Oh, I
mechanically use
love
the
that.
9. That's cool. I like that. Okay, so stealth roll from each of you with advantage.
To 22 from
Which
me.
is just regular because I have disadvantage with my scale mail.
Good.
yeah.
I'm really glad we left your armor on
Oh, no.
while we infiltrated this.
That is a 10.
10 and a 22?
Yes.
Great. Okay. I will just keep note of that as we move on through the rest of this. We'll probably have another stealth roll later on, which is fine. All right. So, Ignis leading the way, going to the west side. You do see, as you get to the west side of the roof here, stairs going down into further down the tower as you hear more about Lady Luck and this dirty, rotten, no good, pig-stealing great-great-grandfather. And learning a little bit more about this history that you don't care about. So you make your way down?
Yes.
Yes.
As you make your way down into the 4th floor here, there is a door at the end of the stairs, of course, and it is closed currently. Ignis, I assume you being in front, you are going to open it.
Yes.
Could I hold, like, kind of almost hold Ignis back for a second and just press my ear against the door to hear if there's anything?
Yes, go ahead and roll a perception check.
That is a 19.
19. As you put your ear up to the door, you hear nothing on the other side. In fact, the loudest thing you hear is about up there. And we were supposed to carry her up a mountain and sing this lullaby, which none of us... And so that's the loudest thing you hear, and you're like, all right.
I'll relax my hand, kind of indicating. Hopefully we can go.
And then just a reminder to Thomas, as we're sneaking through, that Ignis has the observant feat. So her passive investigation has an additional bonus to it.
Yes, that's a +5, right?
Yeah. It's not one of those ones that you normally think about. So I'm going to remind you.
Thank you, I appreciate it. That's like an 18, right? 19?
It's okay. Is it 10 plus my investigation plus the +5 for observant?
Yes.
Yes.
10
So it's
plus my investigation. That includes...
And that is typically your passive investigation. And then if you have an extra bonus on top of that, you add.
so the passive includes your proficiency bonuses.
My passive investigation is 22.
Okay.
That's why I was double checking. Because I have +7 to my investigation, which makes it 17
Okay.
plus 5 is the observant, right?
You
Okay.
see
Yeah.
everything.
Okay. Ignis, as you open this door, perceiving that there are no traps in this lock
Yeah.
or on this door,
It's like on video games when you get those unlocks eventually, and you can see where all the chests and traps are located on the mini map.
they're just all like highlighted in like
Yeah.
a bright orange. Yeah. I'll just need to tell you everything basically in every single room. As you open this door, it's about the room that you see is a 20-foot by like 30-foot long. And there are a couple doors in this room. But the main things you see in this is a long oaken table that can sit up to 10 people. So like 10 chairs around the table. There's not a feast out, but there are a few small plates in the middle that have some like fruit that is actually quite fresh on this table. And above it hangs a very heavy chandelier. But on the south and west side, or rather the west side, there's an arrow slit alcove And on the south, there's a wide window. This is the only true window in the castle, which looks over that harbor that you were able to see. That's the open window that I initially described as you looked up to Tidewater Rock. And it is open right now. It brings in that breeze, which you can hear the crashing of the waves in the cove, and you can smell the sea salt. Now to the east, there is a locked set of doors. You know they're locked because you have a 22 observant passive investigation, and so you're able to tell that they are locked. And because your investigation's so high, you also know that by the large window that there is an end table, and as you pass by the end table, you see something odd, and you see kind of like a relief, and as you go over to it, you press into the relief just instinctively, and it rests in, and you hear a click and a secret drawer opens on this side table.
Is especially with the arrow. What is it called? Gosh dang it! There's the big window and then the arrow window.
Arrow slit.
Yeah, there's enough light in here that Ignis does not need to lead Max through, right?
Yeah, I mean there are some dark areas in this room still. So Max, you can pick up on a lot of the stuff, but definitely not this secret drawer, and you can't tell what's in there until Ignis pulls it out. That might not be the case for some of these rooms. Like I said, this is just the largest window in the entire tower here.
Okay. What's in the drawer?
Money, please.
Well, money. There is money in here.
Ignis will hand that back to... Well, she'll hand the coins to Max.
Well, Ignis, you can determine how many because there are 42 platinum pieces here.
Holy crap.
Thank you.
And there is a jadeite Garundi idol as well.
Classic
Said
Garundi.
40 what platinum?
42 platinum pieces.
Holy crap. Okay.
And a jadeite Garundi idol.
If I had a jadeite Garundi idol for every time we've stormed the Tidewater Rock.
You want to spell Garundi for me?
Garundi. Everyone's like, I have no idea what Garundi is, but Ned.
And Ned just
perked
his
up a
eyes
lot
turned
when
into
we said
stars.
He's like, oh!
Yes, Garund is one of the nations of Galarian, a largely desert nation to the south of TeknoAXE. So, yeah, I'm trying to remember if the Shackles are kind of to the west. Yeah, somewhere to like that. Anyway, yeah, pretty cool lore over there in Garund.
Yeah, Garund, they are part of the Inner Sea, which the Shackles is part of. So they're not too far off. They're not too far removed from where the Shackles currently are. But yes, you're correct. They are on the continent of, wouldn't you guess it, Garund.
Imagine that.
Mm-hmm.
What do you know?
Anything else?
That's it in there currently.
Ignis will risk whispering. What would they be doing with a statue in a hidden drawer?
Maybe where she's from, or possible hidden alliances, or she's a fan of artwork.
I think Ignis will put the Garundi statue back. I don't have a need for a Garundi statue. And she'll pop that secret drawer back into place. And with a quick tug of the...
Wait, why not take it?
Do you want it?
Well, I mean, if we're taking the bag of money, but then we leave the statue.
I don't have any need for the statue. And she'll
It
pull
might
him
be intelligent.
using the tether between them over to the locked door.
Okay. What?
It's just made of precious stone and is variably valuable, but no big deil.
I mean, if you'd like to grab it, you are more than welcome to. Ignis has no need for it.
The little thing. Pop over the door and take it.
I'll take it.
Okay.
All right, I'll write it down. Garundi statue.
As you are having this conversation, with your passive perceptions, you start to hear some light snoring in the room directly east of you, past the locked double doors.
Oh.
The locked door, you said?
Yeah, the locked door on the east side, right by the feast, or rather the table. You hear some light snoring.
Is there another way out of this room?
Yes, there are stairs that go downwards. But with your 22 and the 10 being a little bit on the line, but the 22 you guys were able to stealth sufficiently to where not too much noise was alerted your presence.
Man, I can't wait till we're level 7.
Does the door have like a little marker like, this is my room, you know?
Lady of the Tidewater Rock.
Lady of the Rocks room.
This is where, Max, if you wanted to make the check, you'd have to invoke some light, but Ignis could pick up on some details here, and she could do, in this case, I will ask for a perception check here, Ignis. I am keeping your passive observant investigation in mind here, but I'll ask for a perception here to try and couple with it.
Okay, for invisibility, if you cast a spell, it drops the invisibility.
Yes. You're out.
Correct.
As an Echo Knight, I can use a bonus action to magically manifest an echo. Is that casting a spell?
It doesn't use the cast a spell action.
Yeah. I don't think it will. Rules is written, I don't think it will drop your invisibility.
Only one way to find out.
I lied. It drops it.
I lied.
Turns out.
Using a perception check, which I'm not good at,
Yes.
do we have the ability to see into the room either through a keyhole or under the door?
There's no clear way to look into this room with your passive investigation.
No, with a perception check. Can I do an active check?
Yeah, go ahead and do an active check, and I'll tell you some information here.
Okay.
I can't do anything.
You can't really see the fine details of this door.
What if I squint my eyes?
You could do it with disadvantage if you'd like.
Sure.
Your
why
disadvantage
not?
might be higher than mine.
I'm just literally tied to somebody and not doing jack.
That's fair.
It was a 13 for me.
Yeah, that's a critical fail.
It's dark.
And Ignis, you said 13?
Yeah.
This is a door.
So, again,
It is a
Max, you're saying it's a door, the ultimate enemy to every D&D party, right?
A locked door.
But Ignis, with your passive perception, passive investigation, with your observant feat and this 13, some things you can pick up through the muted tones of your dark vision. Not muted. Yeah, it is muted.
It is muted, yeah.
It's the muted tones of your dark vision. You do actually pick up quite a lot of detail and ornamentation on this door, and the fact that it is a double door with actually like nice brass door handles. This is meant for ornamentation and to be you would hope lead into a nice room here at least.
I just walk right in and you find her sleeping?
It's locked.
And because it's such a nice ornamented room, there's not a lot of cracks. Like it's meant to be a very nice door. So there's not going to be like holes in the door. You can try to look in the keyhole, but it is just dark in there.
But I have dark vision.
So what I'll say, you look through the keyhole and it's very tiny, but you can see another arrow slit on the other side.
But I can see the floor in front of the arrow slit, right?
Yes, and it is wood.
Great. As a bonus action, I can manifest an echo within 15 feet that you can see.
Oh no.
Oh, she's literally using
She tricked you.
Oh,
she
she
tricked you.
got
Let her see the floor. You told her she could see
Get out of here. Oh,
She
man.
pushed for that.
dug deep.
All right.
Wow.
So your echo, you want your echo to be manifest
Thomas will remember that.
on the other side. on the other side of this door, correct?
Yes.
So go ahead and describe you pulling your echo in, yeah?
As she's looking,
He's like, describe your echo before I create something that makes you not invisible anymore.
Yeah, remember that magical barrier we talked about?
Surprise!
as Ignis is looking through she's down on her knees, peering through this keyhole.
Max is
Just-
like bent over.
Yeah, her hands are on the door, so his arm is reaching and at an awkward angle as her hand is just trying to block out as much as she can of the room she's in so she can see in, and she can see just barely coming in through the window, through the moonlight, a silver piece of a different timeline. And as she plucks it, a version of her appears in that room, grayscale, in complete black clothing, face completely covered and head to toe wrapped in black. I have no idea how she doesn't know what happened around that to get her in there, but in another timeline, Ignis was able to get inside there.
And this one was hard to pull. This was a very difficult
Yes,
one.
it's a silver line. It wasn't a gold line.
Yeah.
She was able to pull
And
it.
it's like almost like fuzzy as you pull it in. And it's kind of like, and then it gets in there, just completely silent, completely covered in black. And as your echo is in there, you're like, you'll almost let you breathe out a sigh of relief as you're able to look in there and see that it took.
As a bonus action, you can teleport, magically swapping places with your echo.
Oh my.
It's true.
Oh,
I'm reading it right now.
my
Oh my gosh. Ned being like, I see where she's going. What about me?
Yeah? You're tied to an echo now.
Tied to an echo.
But it's so dim I can't see. I'm like, what's going on?
Why is the lieutenant being so quiet all of a sudden?
Well, but the echo does appear next to you. So suddenly she became visible next to you. Except for it doesn't look at anything like she did the last time you saw her.
But it's dark. Max can't see.
Max can. Yeah, he's like, oh, okay, all right. As you magically teleport, you didn't cast a spell.
This is masterclass.
Master manipulation of the DM.
And so Ignis appears in the place that the echo was in the moonlight in the room, quietly crouching, silently crouching, and to see the person on the bed.
This is
okay.
Hopefully one person in the bed.
It's the cook. It's the.
Max, you don't hear anything, but you're looking, your hand is pulled directly to the keyhole, and then all of a sudden, there's a form in front of you, and you're like, oh, and it's all black, and as this form looks at you, you can see the eyes of Ignis, and you're like, but they're a little bit like translucent, and you're like, okay, like, what is this? Okay, all right.
cool.
So you know something has happened, and this is Ignis, but not Ignis in front of you.
I love clear communication.
Ignis, as you are in this room, there are a couple things you see. This is the most spacious room in the castle, and it actually holds a fireplace to the north side. The fireplace is currently out right now, it being the middle of the night, and not an overly cold evening. But there is a couch that faces the fireplace, and as you look at it, you see that there are, with your investigation, that most of the couch has sagged. Like, there's certain parts that have been sat in too often, too long, and the cushion has started to leave the couch itself. There is a writing table with some chairs directly east of that, with a set of a bear, or rather the fur of a bear, as a rug directly in front of the couch. A very lavish thing to have right by a fireplace. Very stereotypical, right? Now, to the south, there is a bed. A queen to king size bed here with 2 sets of pillows, a very wide bed. But there's a chest at the bottom, at the foot of the bed as well. And next to that chest, there is actually like a mannequin that in the corner, which holds a set of armor. A really fairly decent piece of armor here. And the thing that you are most looking for is there somebody in the bed? And the answer is yes. There is an individual sleeping in the bed. You see a woman. You see a sleeping, lightly snoring, middle-aged woman with long blonde hair that is clearly disheveled because she is sleeping in a comfortable, not overly revealing slip, but something to keep over her while she is resting in the privacy of her bedroom. There does appear to be heavy eye makeup on her, though, and a decent amount of comfort that she's been able to live in this room. And putting some clues together, you feel fairly confident that this is Lady Agasta Smiley, lightly snoring as you crouch 10 feet from her bed.
Having orders from the captain to observe and report more than anything else, and us not coming to a consensus on exactly what we want to do with her, Ignis, before she's able to do anything outside of just gain this feeling of this is who we're looking for, she feels her connection to the plane and her echo start to stretch. Because all of a sudden, she's bent the timeline too far past its breaking point. She's doing too much different than her echo was supposed to be doing. And so she feels this pull through her chest as she's transported back and flips spaces with the echo as she breathes in and goes, and the echo in the room disappears.
And it's a painful experience for you. You kind of like gasp as you just did. Not cry out, just like, and Max, it's very quick, being like, okay, this is Ignis, but not Ignis. And then not 15 seconds at most pass before invisibility right in front of you and hear a light gasp as your Ignis is right there.
Lieutenant.
She'll reach out and locate him again, and find, with no care for being delicate or comfortable, she finds his arm, wrenches it, gets down to where his wrist is, and reties herself to him because it had dropped because of the echo.
Did you open the door?
I was able to establish that our target is inside of this room, which means currently she's unguarded at night. And that's a pretty easy way in through the top. If we're trying to take her hostage, like we were talking about, maybe throwing her out the window or something, this would probably be a pretty good way to do it. It doesn't seem like there's, at least tonight, there's no guards in there, there's no guards in here. We just have the 2 buffoons upstairs. We might be able to take her without much force.
Did you get the door open so we could do that without, giving a loud sound away?
Well, the captain's orders were to return and report. I'm feeling if we could get Buster up here, we could warp her anywhere we want to be.
How would we?
If she's going to be unguarded at night and like a fool, we could take her.
How would we get him up here? With rope? Kind of.
Not tonight. You're not listening.
I'm just confused. You disappeared for 15 seconds.
We're trying to get... What are you even doing? We're trying to get information.
I feel like you could have easily opened that door.
Is this what I would have told Ignis about, Thomas? That they were going to be whispering for like a little while right outside her room?
I'm keeping track.
Okay.
Max, go ahead and finish your thought before I jump to Ataraxia and Buster.
I just feel like... It just feels odd. I feel like you could have done something in there.
We can still do something. I just wanted to give you information. That was the goal.
Okay. Fine. You're right. Congratulations.
And while this conversation, while all of this stealthing is happening. Ataraxia and Buster, you are left pretty much to your own devices. Your part of the plan is to be still and to stay, at least for the time being. But I want to give the opportunity to both of you to either further discuss a plan or just further discuss anything that's going on. So I jump to you for anything you may have on or wish to execute at this time.
Would this be considered a short rest?
Yeah, this would be a short rest. For
I
you
could
two.
regain some of my spells.
Yes, you absolutely could.
Okay.
I'm not sure how much more room we have in this episode for a very sincere interrogation to how Buster is feeling about his curse and how things have gone since then.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So yeah, with it being a short rest, Buster, you could probably regain any spell slots you're thinking of, but actually we'll go ahead and end the episode, this week's episode right there, of I Cast Fireball.
Get to that discussion next time.
We had a discussion between Ataraxia and Buster here on the next episode. You'll just have to join next week to see what happens there as they are waiting for Ignis and Max to gain information and to return a report. So, as always, Jacob, Mickey, Ned, Josh, thank you so much for playing. And listeners, thank you for following us, for joining us on this adventure, and for just having fun on this boat-based adventure that we're having. Just a simple boat-based adventure in the world of Galarian. If you want to learn more about the Grundi and the Grundi idols, shoot a message on to Ned. You can reach out to us at icastfireball2020@gmail.com. I'm sure Ned would be tickled pink or green in this instance to just talk about anything Grundi specifically. Is there an adventure based around the Grundi continent? Or?
There's a whole bunch. One of the more recent ones that was released takes place in the Mwangi Expanse, and it's a wizard college campaign.
Ooh. Buster being right at home.
Gamundi,
there.
Mwangdi.
If we
That's
ever
where
jump
I
in.
want to be.
Tangential adventures there. So yes, if you want to talk to Ned about this more, feel free to shoot us an email, shoot us an Instagram message, or join our Patreon exclusive Discord channel, where if you join at the $5 level, you will join our Discord where you can chat with us on the daily basis about pretty much anything you want. We just might not have an opinion about it, but if it's about Galarian, we definitely have an opinion about it. At least most of us do. So feel free to reach out to us there. And speaking of shout-outs, we want to shout out Improv Tabletop, of course. They have amazing stuff they've got going on. Their most recent Avatar Legends campaign that they finished was Varric World. There's Batman, folks. Not Batman, I should say. But there was...
But Spider Batman.
Spider Batman, of course, because in Avatar, you just have to have unique combinations of animals together.
Yes.
And don't forget to leave them a 5-star review on the way out. But lastly, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends and fellow wacky adventurers. But until next time, I'm Thomas, your DM, and around the table we have...
Lieutenant Ignis Halcone.
Maximus Shuns.
Ataraxia Kalian.
And Buster Bilgewater.
Let's keep that fire going, everybody, and we'll see you all next time.